So you've just finished watching some guy on YouTube with a West Midlands accent talking about chord progressions. Before that, you scribbled down notes from a video on song structure. Heck, you've even started implementing the 12 daily habits that songwriters do. But when it comes to actually sitting down and writing a song, you can't help but feel you're being tasked with building the Empire State Building armed with only an Allen key and an IKEA instruction manual. Despite the best intentions, you still find yourself asking, wait, how do you write a song? Well, as we've already discussed in a previous video, rather than how do I write a song, the question for most people is where do I start? And I didn't really answer that in the first video because there really is no right or wrong or definitive answer to that question. Speak to any number of songwriters and composers and the chances are they'll all start their processes off in different places. Most of Elton John's early catalogue was written lyrics first. His collaborator Bernie Taupin would write a complete set of lyrics and then Elton John would set it to music at the piano. Producer Timbaland, on the other hand, likes to come up with a beat first and then build from there, usually adding lyrics right at the very end. So while there's no clear starting gate in this dark art of creating literally from thin air, there are 6 clear elements or principles that every song will have. We've already covered 2 of them in previous videos, and if you haven't already seen them, after this video, go back and watch How to Structure a Song and 8 Simple Chord Progressions. But for now, let's briefly explore each of these elements along with some practical ways of piecing them together to build into a song. Right, we'll start with a good place to begin, the theme of your song. This is what your song is going to be about if you were to sum it up in a few words, and it will help steer your lyric writing along the main arc of your song's story. You don't need to write a full synopsis of your song's story arc, but it helps to have a little bit more of a directed idea other than just a love song. It could be a love song about 2 people who can't be together, or a song about coming home after a long time away, or a party song about eating cake by the ocean. Your theme is an idea that you can peg other ideas onto, a thread that runs right through your eventual composition. Number 2, vibe. A song's vibe is the way it makes you feel. More to do with the sound than the subject, it's how you might describe or simply imagine your composition to sound when complete. Are you going to write an upbeat guitar track that makes you want to drive fast? Or an epic cinematic folk sing-along? The vibe you're going for will probably dictate the instruments being used. Electric drums versus all acoustic, and will largely be defined in the studio during production. But having an idea of how you want your song to make people feel at the outset, similar to the theme, can help steer your composition in the direction you're aiming for. Number 3. Chord progressions. Now, we covered chord progressions in a previous video, but this is the bedrock that your melody will sit on. Probably played on a guitar or a piano, it's the chords that help realise the vibe of your track. Some chord progressions have a naturally bright and optimistic feel, others dramatic and moody. A sad song will likely start on a minor key, whilst a happy, bright and breezy song probably in a major scale. Your chord progression is essentially what turns a poem into a song, dictating what notes can be sung when you eventually get to lyric and melody writing. Number 4, structure. We also covered this in a previous video where we discussed a song's structure being like the foundations of a building with everything else stacked on top. When we start to think about structure, we're deciding how many verses a song should have, whether there should be a pre-chorus in between the verse and chorus, and does this song need a bridge? There's a variety of song structures we can use, and deciding which one is usually a creative decision, where the theme, vibe, and lyrics will all come into consideration as a structure evolves. Number 5, melody. The melody is what separates a song's unique musical sound from the chord progressions. There are only so many chord progressions we can use, and it's impossible to come up with an original way of linking chords. But the melody, the pattern of notes played or sung from within a scale, is what makes a song unique and memorable. It's what gets stuck in our head when we sing in the shower. The melody is often sung being the individual notes behind a lyric, but could be from the top line of a guitar or piano. Basically, it's the bit that turns an otherwise backing track into an actual song. And lastly, lyrics. Although not essential if you're writing an instrumental track, a typical song will usually have lyrics. At the risk of sounding too obvious, the lyrics are the words used to tell a story in a song. They carry the theme and connect with the listener. The lyrics are sung over the song's melody, and therefore, just like the melody, are the part of the song that we remember and sing along with. Just like the notes in a melody, there are only so many words or themes within the English language, or Spanish, French, whatever, but it's the arrangement and combination of those lyrics that make a song unique and original. Your take on a common story will be different to somebody else's. But Matt, I hear you ask, which element of this Empire State Building of songs should I start with? Well, as I said earlier in the video, there really is no right or wrong answer. It's really just a case of picking an element to start with and seeing what happens from there. Sometimes I'll come up with a melody idea while out walking or cooking dinner. I'll hum it into my voice memo app and come back to it later to try out some chords. Other times I'm working on a brief from a client where the client wants a song about adventure in an Americana folk style. So I have the theme and the vibe and I'll take it from there. I'll usually play with melody ideas, just humming nonsense words and lyrics over chord structures to see what sounds good, and then I'll take it from there. So really the best place to start could be any of these 6 elements that make up a song. Try writing to a theme, pick a story idea that you want to write a song about and see what happens from there. Or maybe try recording a simple chord structure, nothing too fancy, you can use your phone to record it, and then playing it back while humming melody ideas over the top of it. But if you're well and truly stuck, following this stat bottom up is as good a place to start as any. 1, what's your song going to be about? 2, how do you want it to sound? 3, choose some chords you like. 4, pick a song structure. 5, hum some melody ideas. 6, write lyrics to replace that dodgy humming. So if this video has given you a tick sheet of what a finished song should possess, perhaps giving you some ideas of where to start and where to go from there, then consider gently tapping that like button. If you're not subscribed, be sure that you do, because I'm going to be covering the rest of these songwriting elements in future videos. Let me know in the comments which songwriting element I should cover next, and I will see you in the next video.